to the No Names Sunday Show, episode 69. Hey? Oh, you feeling better?
Not 100%.
There were times this week I didn't think you'd have a show, guys. Even Teddy's endeavouring to do something for the show.
Yeah.
And that's what you call a professional. Because we are professionals. She's a professional, I'm a professional, and there are two extra professionals in this show who are so professional at what they do. And who's that?
Teddy's.
The dogs!
Oh.
Here's Nadia Sawalha off the telly. You're lucky to have her today. Such a lovely walk. Anyway, it's park run time. They're setting up for a park run, which makes me so excited because I'm going to start doing them again. Do you think I should?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, look, here's the marshals. I didn't think these things would start
It's a really
again.
good thing to do on a
Yeah.
Saturday morning.
So in a minute, I think we're going to be overwhelmed. But what? Quickly tell us what's the morning after dish.
Oh, bloody hell.
Begins with an L.
Oh, white lasagna, that's all I'm going to say. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that halfway through the cooking I added some mozzarella to the top because I found some in the fridge.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Not very well.
It's been an odd week.
Been an odd week. And it's Saturday now, so we're nearly at the end of it, thank God. And I'm going to make something a bit different today, a white lasagna.
Oh, what do you mean a white lasagna?
So it's made with chicken, bit of cream and sherry, and a white bechamel sauce.
Oh my God, this
Yeah.
sounds delicious. But I'm off gluten.
You can't have any, that's the
Oh.
awful thing. So, knob of butter,
Same to you.
said the actress to the bishop. Spring onions.
You cut them.
Yeah, I cut them.
What's going on?
And I want butter rather than oil because I just want them to soften. I don't want them to brown. I don't want them to fry. I want them to, what's the word? I don't know.
Girdle?
Saute.
There's a word for it. Girdle.
Girdle.
You want them to girdle?
Girdle. So weird. I've put the cold butter in and the spring onions. I'm not right at the minute. So, and I've just got 2 chicken breasts, cut them nice and small because I know most of you like chicken breasts, but you could use chicken thighs. You'd have to cook them for a bit longer. But yeah, just going to let that soften down. Teaspoon of thyme. Don't want a strong garlic flavour, just a hint. add my chicken breast. Down a bit. Good old amount of salt, seasoning in. You're cooking it till it's just white.
Okay.
So you're cooking it just till it's just all turned white. You're not cooking it all the way through at this point. Maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of sherry. Bring that up to the bubble, burn off the alcohol. Don't want to cook it for ages because it is going to go in the oven. We don't want that breast to get tough. So just a few minutes. Right, so all that lovely liquid now, it's gonna make up part of our white sauce for our lasagna. We've got the chicken and the garlic and the spring onions, and I'm making a total mess. So I'm going to top up the sherry with milk up to 700 millilitres. So whatever you had, bring it up to 700 millilitres. So 50 grams of butter, using the same pan here. It's usually the pan I would use for a bechamel, but it outsmart. And equal amount of flour.
Sun's come out again.
Doing things in a very weird way today. Normally I've melted that butter, just ignore me. Lost my mind.
Like your earrings.
Thank you. Same ones I wear every single time I wear earrings. For about 10 years. I love a hoop.
I've never been able to find you a proper hoop.
No.
So, a bit of bechamel going on here.
Bit of bechamel. Actually, I would say 60 grams of butter, 60 grams of plain flour. Cook it in.
This is like a really nice chicken pie lasagna.
Chicken pie lasagna. I'm going to add my sauce bit by bit. Bit by bit will save you lumps. It's really hard in the frying pan, I'm not going to lie. Marcy, can you do it in the frying pan because it's easier to film? It's rather a wide space.
Sorry.
Better to do it in a saucepan, folks. No, it's fine, but better to do it in a saucepan, folks.
It's going to be weird watching Peaky Blinders without Helen, knowing Helen...
No, she'll be in it.
No,
though,
I know,
won't
but
she?
knowing she's...
I know. Looking forward to it though. I've lost my plastic whisk is broken as well, which is annoying because now I'm making this terrible sound. Okay, so now I'm going to add a good teaspoon. Those that watch me regularly know that this is my favourite mustard. It's a completely different level of mustard. Grey Poupon. This is going to kill you not eating this, isn't it, Mark?
God.
so nice. And a good grating of parmesan. Don't have to put cheese in if you don't want. Some people don't like chicken and cheese. Seasoning. Yummy, yummy. Just thought actually some nutmeg would be nice. Where's my nutmeg gone? Where's my nutmeg gone? Where? Okay, if you had some nutmeg, a little fresh nutmeg in, that would be nice, but I haven't got any.
I love fish and that. Such a nice. What was that?
Oh, sorry, it's hot.
You're right.
I've got to do it this way around. Ha! I'm just going to put a little spinach. Da 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 da. A little sauce.
Creamy green.
Creamy green, it's yum, isn't it?
Yeah, really nice colours.
Just a little, not too much, because you don't want it too watery.
Just a touch slow. I know you're trying to go fast, but it's just good. You like lasagna?
Love it. Absolutely love it. And the final layer. A bit green popping out, look nice.
Yeah, nice. Oh, I love the colours on this. Production design and lighting department have been tip top on this one.
Oh, wonderful.
There's the lighting department again. What would you do with that Parmigiana?
Parmigiana, papete lamparani. So that will just take about half an hour. For half an hour. Of course, you can add loads of other cheese if you want, mozzarella, cheddar, whatever. I'm just doing a little parmesan. And it goes for half an hour. Now, I made a bit of a mistake, guys, because Mark went out. He had to take Kiki somewhere, and I put the lasagna in. So it was done ages ago. Oh, doesn't it look nice, though? Doesn't it look yum? But it was really bubbling. But obviously now it's not. Let's cut in.
Looks like a Martian landscape.
Oh,
Oh, hello.
oh. Delicious. Do you want to try a bit more?
Gluten, but yes, I will.
You could not eat the lasagna.
Oh, that's like giving me alcohol without the alcohol.
Ooh. No,
It's like
don't do
having
it.
bolognese without the bolognese.
Look at that.
Oh,
Creamy, and then you've got the little bit of green from the spinach.
oh, hello.
Creamy chicken.
Hello, soldier.
I'm gonna eat it for you guys.
Okay.
Oh.
Hot?
So good. I'm gonna let you into a little secret.
What?
I have never made this before in my life.
Right,
I made it up as I went along,
right.
and it's become one of my favourites.
Has it? Let's have a
That's
close up look. Keep the
delicious.
plate still. Oh, yeah.
So good.
Here we are, once again. The week seems to be going faster and faster.
It's very true.
Don't you find?
I find.
Do you ever think that you'll run out of memes? Is
No.
there an end to funny shit?
Nah.
Or does funny shit keep on going?
Yeah, it keeps on going.
Does that mean funny shit's
It's
immortal?
forever.
Funny shit's immortal.
Funny shit is immortal.
Immortal. Okay, well, let's do it, guys.
Do it, guys. Got this horse that whenever he meets other horses just starts. It's really
Right.
funny to watch. He just like
Oh my god, that's so
does some
random.
weird face.
I guess you don't know that.
Yeah. Guess he used to get you. Now you don't care anymore. Now you're the cause of it.
I've become my worst.
Anyway.
I've become the nemesis of my own
You
newness.
have. This is really funny. This dog's really judging his owner, and
Oh, my lips just get stuck in my teeth.
Oh my god.
Sometimes my lips get stuck in my teeth.
That's like when Toffee does that, doesn't she? She
Disappointed.
gets so disappointed.
I know.
So had enough of you.
Because Monopoly tears families apart.
Funny. What's wrong with you? I go back in jail. Oh, 50 pounds, you can cry. I got 50 quid. This one, you just been given money. You put yourself back in jail. No, put yourself back in jail. Put yourself back in jail. Oh, put yourself back. Oh, only say it one more time. No, I get angry. Will you need to
It's just what Monopoly does to people.
It splits
I
families.
know, it really does.
It
Tears them
finds the
apart.
latent capitalist in all of us.
It really does. Look at the second dog. Like, his face. It's terrifying.
God. Are those real eyes?
Yeah. They
They
don't
look-
look it though.
They look like they've been pushed in his eye socket. Take them out with this.
Sick him out with this.
I just called
You're so weird.
to say I smudged you. I just called to say how much I care, little one.
What the hell? You're a weirdo.
Yeah, that's right, and I love it.
This is funny.
Oh, he's drunk. Oh. Oh.
He just wakes up like nothing had happened and he looked dead.
You look totally dead. Maybe you didn't want to be at that really raucous party. Maybe ferrets aren't supposed to be in boys' bedrooms at parties.
Me fighting the urge to speak in an accent for the rest of the night after one shot of vodka.
So weird.
Fighting the urge.
Wait, what is that footage? Because you've seen it before.
It's Dobby. They've done some weird thing with Dobby.
But Dobby's a ghost. It's Ghost of Dobby.
No, it's just really bad quality, I think.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't expect that to be hard. I
Stupid.
thought it was going to be flappy.
I think you've done really well looking at everything that you've done. So,
Oh, what a day.
I know.
I love
Bless him.
I
What
love
a
him.
day.
Look at this dog.
Let me tell you about my best friend.
He likes being thrown. Look.
Oh my god, he's actually jumping in the air.
Yeah, he jumps back into the truss.
Oh, he's lovely.
I know.
He's got my posters on the wall.
What? I think he's so cute. Random
this?
video. Someone's got like
It's going to hurt itself.
It's so random, it's just in their garden.
God, it's this. Oh my God, there's no way.
Doesn't look real the way it moves.
Begs the question, what happened to it?
I know, who knows?
Where did it go?
What bloody happened? Just stroking a fake cat.
This family makes me want to murder people.
You got another one of these. It's so cute.
That's a beautiful rendition of Blackbird singing in the dog night.
Oh no.
So here I've got one of our big old male panther chameleons.
See that again? That's amazing.
So here I've got one of our big old male panther chameleons.
Very good. Very clever, very smart, very creative.
The combo from 15 seconds.
You know me. No, I don't.
You know me. No, I don't. Would you throw your best friend out the window for a burger?
Yes.
Me. Throwing him out the
he's
window.
done it.
For a
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, both for the burger and for
That's
the
me every time I eat McDonald's.
the moral
Big
compass.
Mac. Yeah.
I got my peaches out in Georgia. I get my peaches from California. So I can go to the store,
Huh? He's great.
So cute.
He's lovely. There you go.
Then I've got some Insta.
That was conducive to things to say with the thing on your head.
Something about this photo makes me feel really uncomfortable.
Oh.
Why does he sound
What
like that?
the hell?
always
Why is there a child in a barrel?
Because it's a playground, but he's on the swing in a playground. And the guy's swinging it.
That's deeply disturbing on every
It's
conceivable
so
level.
weird. It's so weird.
So weird.
The most British thing I've ever seen. 3 different conversations, not a word spoken. We just know what they're saying,
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
do
it's
you know
weird,
what I mean?
isn't it? Yeah.
Can we go first? No,
Yeah,
you.
you,
Thank
right.
you. Hey.
Yeah.
I
true.
found that so funny. It's so British.
So British. Oh, look at that.
Same. So this was a really old meme ages
Yeah.
ago. This one was screaming, and then somebody put their cat in, and it looks like she's screaming
Right.
at the cat at the dinner table. And people were like, these photos have the same energy as that meme.
Yeah.
So it's boring.
God,
chat,
yes.
innit?
He is a cat.
So it's like it's
Oh,
just
that's
like
very
that.
good.
But, you know,
Yeah, I
same
like that.
energy.
Oh, they're quite meta, aren't they? They require a prior knowledge of other
Yeah,
memes.
yeah.
It's fast. It's fast and furious in the head. Got to swipe, move. It's serious shit, this.
British,
Funny shit, but serious shit.
British culture according to Americans versus accurate British
Yeah.
culture according to Europeans.
Yes.
He's drinking a
Oh
beer.
my God. San
is
Miguel,
Britain,
San
though.
Miguel. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
Let's face it. That's what it is. Look, so, as soon as the UK lockdown restrictions are eased on the 21st of June.
We're specifically told no fighting, no swearing, and no drinking alcohol. And I caught you bashing that kid's head on the floor shouting, "Don't touch my bloody beer."
That's very good.
It is very funny. And then American after parties versus British after parties. So Kardashians posted this saying
Right.
our after party,
Yeah,
and they look great.
Right. Oh my
British
Lord.
ones. It's the iron brew.
That's so true.
Look at that.
Oh my God.
What with the iron brew in that?
Yeah.
This one's really funny. This dog's not, so that the house is under construction, so the dog's not allowed to be running inside.
Right.
No,
A total temp. Oh my God.
You're so close.
So angry.
Bloody hell!
I know.
That dog's got no problem with expressing itself.
I know. And
Jesus.
then this is the last one, but
That's the last rubber band I had. That's the last rubber band I had.
Oh my God!
That's the last rubber band I had.
We should have slow-moed it as well. Oh, bloody hell!
it was so strong.
That's so strong, literally taken out by a watermelon man. Short but sweet, that's how we like
Would
it
have had more
sometimes.
this week, but most of the stuff I saved is anime edits.
Be a bit longer one next week, but that was great, thanks. For the funny shit. It's the news headlines. So after the park, we're going to head down to my dear friend's shop, get the papers and pore over what can only be, in this set of circumstances, in this country, I think, good news. Don't you?
I've had a shower in between everything, that's why I've got wet hair.
What do we look like with our glasses?
I know.
Oh look, I haven't had a chance to show you this. Misery is all the rage. I felt a bit hurt actually because you bought that for me, Kiki and Maddie, which means you think we're such miseries.
Yes, I do.
not. Babe, we go with the natural highs and lows of life. We can't stay at a manufactured level of constant
When you're
numbness.
not high, you're miserable.
Welcome to the news section, everyone.
And we've kept it very light and frothy today, just apart from this very
Like a
first
beer,
story.
like a good beer.
This very first story, Dr. Sahil Makwana, I hope I've pronounced that properly. And this is an Indian doctor who is who posted this on social media yesterday, saying how proud he is to be serving the community. And this picture of him in his PPE, and then look at him absolutely drenched.
God, I thought he'd come out of the
in
water.
sweat.
Wow, can put that image is up now. Can you see that? My God.
My God, and it's just a moment, because I think
It really is. It's
every
like
day
a virus of two halves.
we need to take a moment and just think of India and send our prayers and love to the people there, because we are in this strange place where things are getting so much better here, and yet this Armageddon.
I can't remember where I saw it, but there was a contrasting image of the decimation of Delhi on a split screen with ravers in Liverpool. I mean,
That's what it's
stark.
been like. That's what it was like for us, wasn't it? Watching Australia and New Zealand and Wuhan when they were putting out pictures. Of course, we don't know whether those pictures were real or not, of people partying. And I feel like I'm that other side now, and it feels really odd.
It is odd. It is odd. Well, and once again reminds us this is a global problem. There's a global problem. This feels so sort of irrelevant in so many ways, but there's by-elections happening all over the country. There's local elections happening all over the country. But by and large, in Hartlepool, which is taken as a sort of, I don't know, as a sort of quintessential town along that blue-red wall between Labour and Tory voters, the consensus opinion is we don't give a monkeys about Boris's curtains.
Well, I don't give a flying banana.
And I genuinely
just
think that
don't
most
care.
people don't. I think it feels, it's not about whether it is right or wrong, because I think you can argue that, but I think given the scale of what we've gone through and what we're coming through and how we're actually are coming out of it, I think people see it as too incidental.
Soho House for dogs, where stars
No.
get pedicures, messages, and nose shining balm.
Massages.
Oh, massages, sorry.
I say we wouldn't know what the
So
message said.
this is the likes of the Beckhams, Guy Ritchie, David Gandy, Oti Mabuse. This has been dubbed, this place, as the Soho House for Dogs. It's actually in Westfield, just across the road from where I
Shepherd's
work.
Bush.
Well,
No.
it doesn't say which Westfields. It just says Westfield.
Can
Maybe
I
it's in both.
can I just ask a question? Why
Urban Mutts, it's called.
why do I find it odd that someone like a geezer like Guy Ritchie would want to pamper his
Oh,
pet?
because he's very pampered. I mean, he's a Mockney. He's as posh as they come.
Oh,
So it's called Urban Mutts. And apparently, inverted commas, it's a game-changing members club meets modern fitness, daycare and wellbeing space. So they can have aromatherapy, Japanese healing therapy, Reiki. A blow dry costs up to 100 quid.
I wonder what you were going to say then. Bloody hell.
So yes, Mr. Ritchie's Cocker Spaniel Coco is already a regular.
Is this people who've got far too much money to know what to do with?
Well, I suppose you just don't think about it, do you? You just say, oh, that sounds nice. And if you're not thinking about a budget ever, you
No,
would
true.
just say...
I guess so.
I mean, say we were really stuck one day and we wanted to go away for a couple of nights and you've got a guilt-free chance.
And you know that it's actually top dollar kind of
dollar.
brilliant
And if
treatment.
they get lonely, there's a socialising area where they can all hang out.
Do you
with
imagine
each other.
massaging Toffee? She'd have your arm off.
They take them for runs in the park. They train them.
Toffee and Chi
70. Hang on, £70 a night. I thought it'd be more than that.
Toffee and Chi would run rings.
Can you imagine
round
how
them.
embarrassing? I'm just about to do a job with Toffee and
coffee.
Chi-Chi, and I'm so worried. So there are even mood-lit rooms and a night porter on call.
I want to go there. I might go there.
Wouldn't it be great to do a doc there? A
What?
documentary.
A
A documentary.
You could do a dog you soap.
They'll all be calling them. All the companies will be calling them on Monday to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been in that race.
Been
many
in that
times.
race, glad we're out.
I
that
remember
one.
the time I won the race to get Tree Man in Indonesia. We can't do the news and not acknowledge that it's the finale of Line of Duty. We tried to jump in, I think, a little too late in the game. It was a party, we had FOMO, but if I'm honest, I've got JOMO now.
Joy missed out.
Yeah. But anyway, I know that for a huge swathes of you, it's a huge night tonight. And the one thing we won't be doing is doing a live at 9 p.m.
No.
It would be...
And apparently Vicky McClure's mum has come out and said she thinks that Vicky might be H. Okay, now this really, really worries me. You may or may not know of my horrible altercation with a drone a few years ago when I was in a swimming pool in Ibiza and a drone landed in my head.
Was it for that really dodgy film
and
you were
caught
making?
my hair. And if you think about that, that could have caught my eyes or anything. I'm not a fan of drones. Anyway, so...
Was it a pervert flying it or something?
So this was a trial in Oranmore in the west of Ireland where drones can deliver anything you want. Coronavirus test, bag of Maltesers, straight to your garden. So, you're watching a movie and going, oh, you know what? Fancy some popcorn.
Possibly more reliable than Uber Eats and Deliveroo.
But you know what happened? Well, where we live, we wouldn't walk to the shop because it's too dangerous. But I just think we've got, apart from anything else, we've got such a problem with obesity. If we now can just have it dropped into the garden, any time of day or night. Kay said something the other day. She said Bonnie lives in a house with room service because all you need to do is order stuff on the app. And I hadn't thought of it like that. It's dangerous.
The problem I've got with this is, what if they drop it in the wrong place? What if they drop it, say, in next door neighbour's doghouse, or the fox gets it? Yeah. Or
I don't like it at
dog
all.
poo.
I'm not happy with drones and I'm not happy with electric scooters. And I think those two things, we've got to be really, really careful. Look at how the flights were disturbed. Do you remember a couple of years ago?
I do.
For how long?
Yeah.
From a bloody drone.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating as hell.
Why
isn't it?
why do it?
Why
do it? We
Why?
don't need it.
Any drones?
It can even deliver a cup of hot coffee without spilling it. That's how smooth the
I
drone
just say
is.
that, babe, you're running the risk of droning on about it. Women fancy a wit wedding, the Sun is saying. Professor Chris Whitty apparently is perfect marriage material. The government's chief medical officer, famous for his no-nonsense lockdown warnings, was picked out in a snog, marry, avoid poll. Guess who was so whilst he was marry, Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon was top snog. While PM Boris Johnson was voted the one best to be avoided. In the royal category, Pippa Middleton was best for a snog, Sister Kate for marriage, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, avoid. And on TV presenters, babe, do you think you'll be in there? Guess who married was?
Who?
No, sorry.
Holly
Piers
Willoughby.
Morgan won Snog. Susanna Reid won Married.
Yeah.
But Laura Kinsberg was a void. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we can't not
That's
have
a
a
lovely
beautiful
photo.
photo of Princess Charlotte, her 6th birthday today. Absolutely gorgeous. The plan for it, this photo, which was taken in Norfolk by Mummy at the weekend, they go to Norfolk every weekend, they're so lovely, was that this would actually be posted on their social media. But because of Prince William's connection with the football world, you may or may not know that there has been a blackout called over the next 3 days or so, in support of the horrible trolling that so many
I think that should be
footballers
done
get.
across all social media by all categories of people. I think there should be a whole ban.
Yeah.
Don't
And
you?
it gets something done
Yeah.
about it.
I think everyone should put their phones down for three days. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful image.
Beautiful.
This gets my goat. Ramsey had a little lambsy, says the Daily Star. That'll be £120, sir. I want to ask you as a foodie, why do chefs feel they can charge any amount of money for certain types of food? So £120 for,
What is it?
for a tiny piece of lamb.
What is it? What is the lamb?
Foodies feel
Remember the lamb we
fleeced
had
by a
in
lamb dish
Iceland?
served up by Gordon Ramsay that it wasn't lamb. They took to social media to complain that the 2 small slices of meat, part of a £120 a head menu, are not enough.
Hang on. Part of £120 menu. So they will have had starters and mains and puddings and expensive wine.
But
the
it-
lamb didn't cost 120.
But it is a pet gripe that tiny, minuscule amounts. It's almost like you're paying for the privilege to be
Well,
given
just don't go.
essence of
You know
food.
they're wanky restaurants. Don't go.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Look at this.
What?
This calf was born on Valentine's Day with a heart on the side.
That's amazing.
Isn't that just so
Oh, that is
beautiful?
amazing. Look at that. I didn't really see it on that one. Oh, that's big-hearted
Just,
cow.
but the fact that he was born on
Valentine's
Day
with a
as
heart.
well, with a heart.
That's a curious
Stunning,
one, guys.
isn't it?
Okay, Special Forces heroes, not heroes, heroes. SAS has ordered their soldiers to get rid of man buns and
Oh,
beards.
thank God, I hate.
Do you
a man
like a
bun.
nubbin?
Hate it.
I love the word nubbin.
I just
a nubbin.
hate a man bun. I know lots of people like them, but it's not for me.
Well, here's the thing.
Maddie likes man buns.
I know. Do you like beards?
No, I hate beards.
Well, here's the thing. So, crack SAS soldiers got roasted when they returned from Afghanistan, when their regimental sergeant major described them as looking like heavily armed Jesuses. They just let their hair grow apparently out there. And apparently it's just not the thing. Where does that come from, the idea that you have to have a buzz cut to be sort of efficient in the army?
But it's about all being the same. That's being the army, isn't it? You can't have
A
individuality.
lack of self-expression.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you remember, but a while back I did a job with Thames Water on fat burgers because I'm obsessed with them. They're the most disgusting things, aren't they, Mark? Wasn't it
amazing.
fascinating doing that job because
they're
we
amazing.
found out so much about them.
They're huge.
Now, nothing on earth will allow me to drop even one drop of oil down the sink since I've learned what I've learned.
True.
Like, even if you've got a little bit of oil in the pan, wipe it out with a kitchen towel. Do not put it down the sink. It's costing us millions every year. And this latest one, Mark, 300 tons. So basically, this is when we put oil down the sink. These fat burgers gather with all the bits and pieces and create these, well, you know, like an iceberg, except it's fat. So it's 300 tons, the equivalent of 250 family cars. And it will
Wow.
take until next month to clear it.
Wow.
Severn Trent said the blockage was 1 metre high but stretched for more than half a mile.
That's amazing.
I know. Said teams are working around the clock in Birmingham to get rid of it, and the job is such an awful job. So fat bugs are basically caused by people flushing baby wipes, sandwich jars and nappies down toilet, and then they become stuck in congealed cooking fat. But it's not even just things as big as nappies, though. Who would flush a nappy down the toilet? It's even the little bits and pieces that you let go down the sink. So please, everyone, just take that responsibility, because it does take us all to take the responsibility. You know what I've got? I've got a big bottle under the sink that I pour the oil in, and then once it's filled, into the rubbish.
Well, I take it to the rubbish bin.
He does.
Yeah. Well, here's the next story. Liberated lovers spark sexplosion. As lockdown restrictions ease, many newly liberated Britons are planning trips to the pub or beach, but others appear keener on heading to the bedroom.
What? After they've been in the bedroom for
After
a
a
year.
lonely winter of enforced self-denial, doctors and dating agencies report a waking up of sexual activity with rapidly increasing demand for condoms, morning after pills and
Yeah,
treatments for
actually,
a
I've
much
heard
older
younger
form of
people saying
infection, sexually transmitted diseases. What, people are going rampant, are they?
Younger people are saying, "Oh, I just want to go out. I want
Just
to
have
be
sex."
flirting. I want to, yeah, of course."
And apparently
it's normal.
sales of Viagra are going through the roof as well for men of a certain age. But yeah, so apparently there's a real worry that what's going to come out of this is a huge bounce in sexually transmitted diseases. A bonking bounce of sexually transmitted. I noticed that when I went to the supermarket the other day to get my inhalers, that Viagra was front and centre on the.
Yeah, except, well, look at that, but it's not for women with HRT when age messes with their sex drive. So wrong. This is rather lovely. Now, earlier in the year, I did Supermarket Sweep, and one of the contestants in it was Harry Redknapp.
Oh, we like
and
him.
he is everything that you see on telly. He was adorable.
We like
so
him.
I'm really pleased to see he's become one of the cast members in EastEnders.
Oh,
I think he'll work really well. He's playing an associate of Danny Dyer's character.
makes sense.
I think they'll be a great couple.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we don't know if he can act.
Doesn't really matter anymore, does
But
it?
he's got such a warmth about him. I think it'll be a really.
They don't really matter than sex
That's me
anymore.
done.
It's pouty time, sales of lipstick rocketing. The reason I pulled this story was I think this time last year we did a story about the sales of lipstick decimating.
Yeah.
And now as masks come off, lips get... and so sales are going through the roof. But this final story I thought was for your dad, penniless in Petra. Bedouins have been forced to seek refuge in their ancestral caves because they can no longer afford, due to COVID and lack of tourism, their rent. And the government
that's
is seeking to
fascinating.
forcibly evict them because they are now living
In
on
a
what they
World
consider their land, but it's a World Heritage Centre.
We must save that. And
So
give
we'll
that
save
to
that for your dad. But yeah, so caught between literally a rock and a hard place are the naturally occurring Bedouin of Petra who want to go and live there because they feel it's their absolute right and it's their land.
And I completely sympathise with them.
And because they can't afford doing it the way that the government have told them to do, but due to it now being a sort of World Heritage site, it's illegal.
These are penniless, homeless
Yeah.
people, victims, a different kind of victim to COVID-19, and they're
Yeah.
not going to be allowed to stay in what
Well,
was actually their ancestors' home. It's disgusting.
So there you go. So we're not going to Lisa.
Because I wasn't well enough yesterday to.
But I can give you
record
one tip for a new, you know how you often, Outlandish Creations is launching a clothing range with equally outrageous statements on them. There you go, there's one.
it. There you go.
There you go. I just did a Lisa Love. Not entirely sure if this part of the show's going to come. Well, tell us, what's the feeling? Are you pleased I made you come out?
Yeah, I love it.
The feeling
I'm
in your
more
skin.
scared about going home now.
So am I.
But then we're lucky we've got the garden.
Should we try and edit the show from here?
Yeah.
Should we do it?
Yeah.
Lisa Loves. Now, the problem with this part of the show is we're either going to go to it or we're just not. Literally saw two rats. They were playing, they were bouncing, they were having fun. Bouncy, bouncy, fun, fun, fun. Nads, what's for pudding today?
Oh, lovely. I made a Nigella Lawson dark chocolate cake. Now, just a little warning, when you get to the end, it looks like it's a disaster. But actually, I just took it out of the pan too early. It got so much
Got better and better, didn't it?
Oh my God, the girls absolutely loved it.
It matured with time.
Yeah, Mum and Dad loved it too because it wasn't too sweet. So, yeah, lovely cake.
I ate the last of it last night.
Mark.
Why Nigella?
Oh, Nigella. This was Nigella's first book. Those of you who know me well know I'm a big fan of Nigella. And this was the first book I ever had of hers, How to Be a Domestic Goddess. I think it was the first one she brought out. And today I'm going to make this. Now,
What is it?
it won't look that fantastic, but doesn't it sound lovely? Dense chocolate loaf cake.
Say it like Nigella.
Dense chocolate loaf cake. I might use the microwave, eh? dark chocolate, loads of sugar, muscovado sugar, and she warns. She says, simply sliced with a cup of tea or coffee, it's pretty damn dreamy, as damp and sticky as gingerbread, and quite as aromatic. And I will confess that I absolutely love it, spread with cold cream cheese.
What's she talking about there?
This. She says it's very sticky. She says you need a tray underneath in case it drips onto the bottom.
Just like you of an evening.
Yeah, in case it drips onto the bottom of the oven. And yeah, it looks quite ordinary, but like she says, I love the idea that it's sticky like gingerbread cake. You know, like the old gingerbread cake you'd get in a packet. And look, I love this. I love my books when you can see where they've fallen before. Dirty. Like look at that. We always used to try and make them to look like that, me and my sister Dina, and they never quite turned out, but they were delicious cakes. And I love that. I love the simplicity of that. Yeah, so a lovely book if you fancy getting it. And today we are going to try dense chocolate loaf cake. I think I'll miss on the cream cheese. Sometimes she can be a bit weird. Okay, so we're going to start off with 100 grams of dark chocolate.
I'm going to film you like your Nigella. So it's all going to be filmed from the side because she doesn't do anything head on.
But I wish I didn't have my glasses on. I look rough as arses. I've had a really bad day. So I took my lenses and my false eyelashes on after work, and so that's why I look a bit rough.
Why don't you just do it in your knickers then?
Mark! So, into a pan.
She wouldn't let it clunk like that.
Yes, she would. She'd go, the snap. The sexy snap of the dark, mysterious. The sexy snap of the dark, mysterious chocolate. Chocolate.
Stop it.
So don't let your water touch the pan. In Nigella, they would definitely show. Listen to the snap of the dark, mysterious chocolate. Yeah. So don't let water get. I know I've said this lots of times before, but I have to remember, not everybody watches every recipe. So you don't want steam or water going into your chocolate because the chocolate will seize and you won't be able to use it. So I've got the water just up to about there so it doesn't hit the bottom of the pan. And it's probably a bit hot now because there's steam coming around and I don't want that steam to go into the chocolate. Even when you're stirring chocolate, don't use a wooden spoon, use a metal spoon because a wooden spoon can retain moisture and can mess up with your chocolate. Now, you might think, oh, dark chocolate, I hate dark chocolate, but remember, we have got 375 grams of muscovado. So,
We'll fiddle with that for a bit more. She'd fiddle with it for ages.
What would she say about it, Mark? Give me the
She'd
line.
say, feel the soft, silky, unforgiving, acquiescent.
The masterly muscovado. Rich in aroma. Because it has, I mean, I don't think you could just replace this with caster sugar because muscovado has, you want this soft muscovado, it has a fragrance. It has quite a really strong fragrance.
It's dancing with your fingers, my darling.
Also.
Enough of
Butter,
that.
225 grams of softened butter.
Is that all?
I'm going to be taking this into work tomorrow so that nobody here can eat it.
You say that every week.
Yeah, but you're working out really hard with Joe Wicks. You don't want to, because the thing is with you, Mark, you'll eat the whole loaf. 375 grams of muscovado. Actually, thinking about it, I don't think the kids will forgive me if I let this go out of the house. Maybe I'll let them have one slice. Just break it up a bit as you go. Now she says, this isn't a cake that you're beating loads of air into like you would normally. This is a dense cake. A difficult, dense, dark. So I weighed all my ingredients out earlier, guys, and in the time that sugar's been sat there, it's gone a bit lumpy. that, I'm going to add 2 large eggs.
You like doing that, don't you?
Love it.
The skim around the edge.
Love it.
Yeah, I've noticed that. You're Nigella.
Nigella. So now we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I've got the oven on at 180, by the way, folks. Ooh.
Really?
Now the chocolate. See, with that slightly cool.
See, it strikes me it's quite simple, this. No. I could
Most
have a go at
cakes
it.
are, aren't they? Yeah, let's do this. All Nigella's recipes are simple. I mean, absolutely. I've never done a complicated Nigella recipe. They're so doable. They're so relatable. She's just so weird. Probably a lot of people would think that a Nigella book wouldn't be for them because of the way
Exactly.
she's on telly. But honestly, her recipes always work.
What is it you like about Nigella? Tell us. Doesn't matter.
I love how beautiful she is. I love how eloquent she is. I love how articulate. She's obviously so well read and
Yeah.
she's beautiful. And she's had a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Teaspoon of... She might be rich and people then dismiss all the stuff she's been through, but, you know, she's lost her mum, her husband and her sister all to cancer. I mean, imagine that.
Yeah.
So I put a teaspoon of bicarb into the flour and I'm going to alternate flour and boiling water. I've got 250 mils of boiling water.
The only person I met on Taste of My Life who had that real star presence.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
When she came in, you knew
Yeah.
a star was
Oh
alive.
my god, yeah.
You've met her loads of times, haven't you?
Yeah, I've watched 3 times.
Is she aware that everyone finds her sexy?
Yeah, you've got to be.
She plays it. Good for her. Enjoy. Right, remember what she said? We want this dense. We don't want this light and airy. So that was 200 grams of flour. See how it looks like milk chocolate now, doesn't it? And it's quite runny. Oh, I'm a bit worried about those lumps of sugar I left in. Maybe they'll be nice and caramelly.
Yeah, there'll be little lumps of joy.
Let's hope they're not little lumps of tooth breaking.
Let's hope they don't go into your huge cavity at the back of your mouth.
Right.
Oh, wait for me. Wait. Go. What a beautiful thing. Folds and
Oh,
folds.
it
of it.
smells so good. It's so chocolatey. I wonder if because it's got the bicarb in, she's expecting it to bubble up and
Oh.
drip over into the...
Say bubble and drip.
Bubble and drip!
Right, the deal is you have to put this into the oven like she would. Okay? And Nigella me.
Chocolate. Chocolate. Chocolate cake. Going into the oven at 190 for 30 minutes. And then I'm going to turn the oven down to 170
I can't stay focused. I'm so all over the place. Oh.
You are lost, my bride, don't know where my secrets are.
Now give us Nigella.
No, don't.
Okay, and on your marks, get set, go, action.
Mark went out, so it's been cooked for quite a while. Oh, yum, look at that.
Ooh.
So it's still warm. It's supposed to be a bit sunken like that because it's squidgy.
It's the sunken place. Oh my lord.
Oh!
Fallen in half. Is that meant to happen?
Oh, maybe it's not supposed to be that squidgy.
Get a bandage.
That was good.
It's a bit too squidgy.
That's like that's like a fudge brownie.
Okay, well, that's how we're going to do it today then, guys.
Oh.
It's like a brownie.
It's a brownie cake.
But
babe.
it doesn't look like Nigella.
It's like an earthquake.
Well, I've never made it before. I mean, I gave it an extra
Babe,
7
it's
minutes.
spreading as we speak.
Oh, God, hang on.
It's spreading. Ooh, going
Oh,
in.
my God, it's like the softest, most unbelievable brownie. It's like the fudge molten cake. What's it called?
Is it like Nigella's buttocks?
Just like Nigella's butters. Oh, well, there you go. I don't think we'll be putting that on the gram.
I don't think you can.
Tell you what, though. It's sensational. That with some cream.
Oh,
Okay, I think I might just put it back in there.
okay.
The best tasting things are like the ones I see.
That's going to be amazing with cream on it.
Take us to the book.
Whose book is it? Betty's? Not Betty's.
Yeah.
Nanny dies.
Betty, because she's always in it doing the
Nanny
book.
dies.
I know what you should do. Put it in the fridge or the freezer.
No, because then it'll be just crap.
I think warm with cream.
I think cold.
But we're
with
definitely
ice.
not putting that on the gram.
Oh, stop calling it the gram. It's so embarrassing.
No, but I love it 'cause it annoys
I get
you.
right armpit.
That's
I'm
why I do it.
sweating.
This is Maddie's favourite cake, molten chocolate cake. So Maddie's going to have some. Yeah,
Okay.
you love it when it all runs out the middle.
Chocolate.
Oh, do you remember?
Yeah,
when,
this is a chocolate fondant by accident.
do you remember when Maddie used to play with ice cubes?
Yeah. That's enough. Go.
Book of the week.
Nanny Di here. The book is Jessie Greengrass's. Can you see that?
Yeah,
guys?
the High House.
The High House. This girl, she's a girl really, has only written one book before this and she won plaudits for that. This is a more difficult subject because this is what is now known as, and I'll be interested to know if Mark knows what this means, cli-fi.
Cli-fi.
Climate.
Sci-fi climate.
Climate.
Future.
Future, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Now called cli-fi. And there's masses and masses of books. And the chief exponents of those books are people like, you'll know Barbara Kingsolver
Yes.
and, people like that. They're very difficult things to write as fiction because basically the premise is so,
Factual.
well, not just factual, but one could say depressing,
Right.
if you wanted to. It starts off with the story of a teenage girl and her mom, her mom dies and her dad marries a woman who's the top scientist. And we go on for a bit with them as the family of 3. Her stepmother, the woman scientist, has a child, and then she gets called away to a conference on the other side of the world. And what we realise is what she's clever at, this woman is, who's written the book, is she even if characters are quite unpleasant, she doesn't skirt around that. She makes us understand why.
Yeah.
And the mother is unpleasant. She's short and driven and not at all sympathetic, but it's because she knows what's going to happen.
Right. So is the book parked at a point of impending climate change and doom?
Yes,
Right.
it is. And almost one could say it's almost goes beyond that because Caro's stepmother and her father go off to this conference and get stuck there. It's because of global warming. It's because of flooding, basically. The world is flooding. What Caro doesn't know is that before she left, her stepmother, who she hasn't really had that much time for so far, has purchased and built and got and filled up with provisions and everything this place called the High House on the coast, full of stuff in case. It was for the family, but she didn't know she was going to get stuck there.
Like the opposite of a bunker.
Yeah, exactly. And it's beautiful because of that, Mark, because you can see all the surrounding lands, you can see but you can see the water coming in and whatever. And what she did before she went, because she didn't want to tell Cara at that stage that things were so bad, well, she didn't know herself things were so bad, she employed a girl to be a sort of caretaker. And the girl that she employed from the village has got a grandfather, and she brought the grandfather with her. So what we end up with, the reason that's important, is 5 characters, 2 girls who are more or less the same age from different families, the small child who becomes the sort of saviour, in a way, of the group, and the grandfather. And he's full of wisdom and, you know, a bit like Teddy, actually.
Yeah.
And so they're put into caretaker. Caro doesn't know anything about that, then gets this message from her mother saying, get to the high house, more or less. So she does, and in that way she meets Sally, who's the caretaker, and she meets the grandfather, who turns out to be so important to them all. And meanwhile, over on the other side of the world, it turns out that we think the mother is dead, mother and father, because the news that's coming through says that more or less Canada is gone. And I mean, it's very, very it doesn't pull its punches at all in terms of what might happen to the world.
Yeah.
And in that sense, I just want to emphasise again that that's a difficult path to tread with a novel, but she succeeds, and she succeeds because, I mean, she sort of puts the fear of God into us, but at the same time, she succeeds because she concentrates on the relationships between the characters, particularly the relationship between the characters and the child. And she's very good at talking about the joys of bringing up a child, and the fact that when you're in a dreadful situation, you pull things down to the group and you concentrate on the good things, and they become all important. And that's essentially what happens in this book. Oh, the other thing I should say, it's beautifully written, and it moves apace.
So is it dramatic? Is it a thriller, or is it a sort of
not a thriller, but I suppose the joy of it and the skill of it is A, in the writing, and B, in the relationships between the people. The world is under threat of flood, and because her mother and father, her mother's a top scientist, has got called to the sort of key part of the planet that's happening. But then a sort of freak storm comes in which wipes out the centre where they are. And it is happening all over the world, but in terms of this particular area, which I think is set somewhere in the Fens in England, she doesn't say exactly where it's set, you can see the water coming in.
Right.
And she manages to convey that amazingly. I mean, there are a couple of scenes where the boy, one of the girls takes the boy out and suddenly realises that water is coming in differently to how it normally comes in, and they almost get trapped.
Right.
And then they have to sort of a bit filmic, actually.
I was going to say, is it like Waterworld?
A
Starring
bit,
Kevin Costner.
a bit. Oh, and I was going to say, in some respects, Hunger Games. It's like where people are trying to get somewhere, in that sense. And
is it a sort of call to arms? Is it a cautionary tale about where we're heading?
It is a cautionary. Well, it is, but done very gently, I think. And where she's clever is that she makes, as I said before, she makes the mother quite a sort of unpleasant, acerbic character, the sort of person you wouldn't want to go for a drink with. But at the same time, you realise that while she's been being all those things, it's because it's a bit like the pandemic happening now. She knows what's going to happen.
Right.
And as she's doing all of that, when she's still in this country, unbeknownst to us, she's making this place, and as you say, a bunker on a hill for what's coming afterwards. And it flows along. I read it in about an afternoon. It's very, very easy reading. And pertinent for these times. But don't think, I'm not going to touch that. I'm not going to touch that because it's depressing, because it's not depressing at all, amazingly. But I can thoroughly recommend it. Jessie Greengrass, The High House.
Oh, thank you.
Here's Betty. Let's see how Teddy is. Oh, God. We can't see you. We can't see you, Dad.
That's blurry, isn't it?
Can you see me now?
No, I think there must be something on the lens. Oh, it's like you've put Vaseline on it.
Pretty odd, isn't it? Hi, Teddy.
We can't see you.
Hi, Mark.
How you doing, matey?
I'm fine, a bit wobbly.
I bet.
A bit wobbly.
Oh, you poor thing. What a week.
And it's these wrecking balls
Yes.
which swing. You feel as if I was crossing the street and a wrecking ball hit me.
Hit you.
Oh, Dad.
Teddy.
Yeah.
A&E.
A&D.
Yeah, it sounded fucking awful.
But still, I'll tell you all about it on another day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be prepared for that.
I will. Okay. Oh.
A day in the A&D.
A day in the A&E.
Day
We'll
in
look
the
forward to
A&E.
that for next week. I told them some of your experience, and a lot of people had had a very similar experience, actually.
Yeah.
That's a bit better.
Yeah.
Can you blow on it? Go ha. Blow.
Oh.
Okay.
Hey.
There we go.
That's it.
Better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, what was it?
It's something very sticky and foggy.
Somebody's thumb on it.
We have cleared the thumb.
We are thumbless.
So what's Teddy Talks on this week?
Yeah.
What's Teddy Talks on?
But, it's about ignorance.
Oh.
Yeah, ignorance. I tell you, it's about 100 years ago. A very strange young man arrived in our village and asked to see the chief of our community. And he had a story to tell. He said, I'm a Greek. I was a Greek fighter, freedom fighter against the Turks. And the Turks have put a price on my head. He said, I face death and I have nowhere to go. I have no family. I have no country. So I come to you. Would you take me in? And for that, I do anything for you, anything. So the elders of the tribe, moved to one corner to have a confab. So
Confab.
what shall we do with it? What shall we do with him? And one clever man said, look, we could marry him, one of our daughters to him. He said, we've got that woman called Shams. She's so fierce. No man will ever marry her. And she'll be sitting in our faces for the rest of our lives. Why don't we take him in on the condition that he marries her? They called her Shams because she was so fierce, but Shams means sunlight.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
And this was 100 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
during the Greek independence wars,
Uh-huh.
because that's what made him son come across, to Jordan. And Shams, who was a very furious lady, Miss Sunshine, was married off to the Greek refugee, and and he became a Sawalha.
Oh,
And
beginning of the tribe.
He joined the tribe, and he was under the protection of the tribe.
Wow.
Yes, so his problem was over, so to speak. So he married Shams, the shrew. They say she used to knock men down and jump on their bellies.
For any particular reason?
Just fierceness.
Really?
Just fierce, yeah.
So the legend would have it that this is what she did.
Terrible, incurable sense of anger.
Oh my God, I love her. So are we ancestors of hers?
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
our
yeah.
ancestor.
If you like, you can.
We're descendants, that's the word. So we're descendants of the woman that jumped on men's bellies through
If you
sheer
like that,
unbridled
like,
rage.
yes, you can.
Watch out, Mark.
Yeah. She's done it a few times. I have been jumped on a couple of times.
I love that. I want to rename myself Shmush. What is it? What's her name?
Shams,
Shums.
sunlight.
Sunlight. Bosh. The belly bosher. Bosh. Feel the sunlight, baby. Bosh.
You loved wrestling, didn't you?
Anyway, they married, and to her credit, a home was built and children were produced, and generations. One of the generations was my generation. And when I was running the cartwheel, one of the guys came to me one day and said, Mr. Nadim, there's a gentleman here having a drink. He wants to see you. I said, who is he? He said, his name is Socrates.
Oh.
Socrates Sawalha. I said, yes. I said, all right. Tell him I'll come round and say hello.
That's a big name to live into, isn't it?
He was
Socrates.
a descendant of Shams, the fierce one.
The belly bouncer.
He was, you know, her grand child, so to speak. So I went to see him, a nice man, almost my age. At that time I said to him, why do they call you Socrates? Is it because you know a lot? He said, no. My answer is Socrates' answer. The only thing I know is I know nothing.
Ah.
I said, that's very modest of you. He said, well, without modesty, we will never learn anything. But I tell you what, Nadim, he said, knowledge is concentrated on a tiny little island in the middle of an ocean of ignorance. So don't ever think that you are wise and you know too much, because the biggest challenge in life is to be ignorant and wanting to learn.
Yeah.
Once you say, I know, I learn, I have learned everything, you've had it.
Yes.
So he said, the only thing I know is I know nothing, which was a marvelous lesson for me, and something that I agree with. And that is the son of Shams, the fierce one.
Wow. I love that.
I swear to God, I'm going to make Shemps my middle name.
But I love the philosophical thought there at the end. It's so true.
I love it that one of my ancestors was known at a time when women had no place. They're so full of rage that she frightened men by jumping on their bellies.
Yeah.
Love it. I really identify with her.
Yeah.
And then spawned someone who was willing to embrace the fact that he
Yeah.
didn't know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's it. And I thought it's, you know, that was the beauty of the cartwheel.
Yeah.
People popped in and brought the world outside in with him, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
Oh.
You know.
Oh.
One of the people I remember distinctly was a superb Russian spy, I think. During the war, she came in. She was a stunning woman, Russian, and she was with a man. She said he was her husband, but I think he was her controller. Anyway, he came and sat at the bar. She came and sat at the bar for about 2 minutes, with no other purpose but to ask me, sort of, have I got something to say about the situation? There was nothing. I had nothing to say. But I thought, this woman has not been chosen lightly by the Russians. She is stunning, and any man would tell her anything.
Ah, she was a honey trap.
Yeah, honey trap of the first order. But there was no honey on my side of the bar.
Good man.
So she got up and walked back to her husband. I never saw her again. Never saw her again. Never even seen the likes of her again.
The likes of her.
It was that was the glorious period of the cartwheel. You know?
Yes. Brilliant.
Oh, Teddy, thank you. That was a brilliant one, like it is every week. And thank you for doing it
Yes.
when you've been so unwell.
We've had such a bad week.
No, we'll talk about the A&D next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
When it's a bit further away from you, it's all a bit raw,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
But,
Love you.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Lovely seeing you.
So I'm extolling the virtues of...
my God.
What is this? This is a wonderful discovery.
I'm ready
Park walking
to throttle
early in the
him.
morning.
I have been telling him for 10 years, get up at 7 and go for a walk. Don't go to your phone and work. Go for a walk as soon as you get up. Every person that you admire and respect that talks about mental health
says that is the best thing you can do for your mental
Yeah,
health.
I just like to do it later in the day.
But then it's all busy and you hate it.
All
It's
right,
too
okay,
late.
this is the end of the show. This is
Look
meant to be
at
a...
how much it's improved your mood the last 2 days. Do it every bloody day.
It's even improved my perception of rats.
I know, he's over there.
They were
looking at the
rolling.
beautiful rat.
Look at the beautiful rats having fun. Anyway, that was episode 69, not a 69 in sight.
Mark.
Was it a good one for you? Well done, you got there, you got to the end. Well done.
Yeah.
Anyway, big round of applause for Nads, and see you next week for number 70.
Yeah.